Sarah. Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
We recognise that this case has been discussed quite a bit already, but we wanted to share our own distinct take on it, incorporating some forensic knowledge along the way.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
4748 France Court, apartment 3.
4748, what's the street name?
France, F-R-A-N-T-Z.
And the apartment number?
3.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send a line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
Okay, 4748 France, correct?
Correct.
All right, great. Now tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case and we were playing. And like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep, and I woke up, and he was dead in the suitcase, so I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Following the emergency call, multiple teams of medical personnel, fire and rescue units and officers from the Orange County Sheriff's Department are dispatched to an apartment complex in Orlando, Florida, in reference to an unresponsive male. Upon the officer's arrival, Officer Rodriguez is informed by the Orange County Fire and Rescue Department that the man inside, 42-year-old Jorge Torres, is beyond medical assistance and has been pronounced dead prior to her arrival at 1:07 p.m. Officer Rodriguez then makes contact with Jorge Torres' girlfriend and 911 caller Sarah Boone to obtain more information.
What's going on? I just got here, so fill me in.
No problem. Like, he and I were putting a puzzle together. We've been doing some artwork together.
You are putting a puzzle together?
Yes, we have a puzzle that we started in there.
Okay.
We've been doing art, trying to take the stuff off the wall to make new art put up there, like having a good time with one another. But we're drinking. We had a bottle of wine last night.
Okay. Fine.
So then it's like, we decided to play hide and seek, right?
Okay.
So he gets in the suitcase, okay?
Who is this guy?
That's my ex-husband, my former husband.
How did he live here with you guys?
No, I called him over here.
Okay, okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
So then he came over here.
Here, let's talk.
The problem is I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
When did you do CPR?
This morning, when I found it. Yes.
It's 1 o'clock right now.
I tried. I was awake, but I actually got out of the bed at like 12:30ish, whatever. So I came downstairs, and I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still. And that's when I found him, and I took him out, and I tried doing CPR, and then I called him.
Did you get here before the fire department got here?
Who?
Your husband? Or your ex-husband?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you live at?
Right down the street.
Okay. So you were playing and who zipped him up in?
I did, but then I fell asleep.
Okay. You're okay. I wasn't here. I'm just trying to figure out what happened.
I fell asleep, so I don't know if he suffocated or like had an aneurysm or a heart attack or what.
What kind of medical conditions does he have?
None that I know of.
Nothing that you know of.
None
You
that I
didn't take
know
any
of.
medicine
No.
last night?
No.
No medicine.
All we had was a bottle of wine. Literally, just a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Doing puzzle artwork. Then we decided to play hide and seek.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that happened.
Okay.
So I don't know if he had a heart attack or what in there. Like, I don't know what happened.
So how long were you doing CPR on him prior to that all morning?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I called him while I was
What
doing
time
CPR.
did you start? Probably, can you give me a rough ballpark? Here, let me fill this deputy in, okay?
Please, may I have my Dr. Pepper? I am
Hold on,
so
one
caught
second,
now
one
right
second.
now.
Ma'am, and you can't talk to him until we get done with this, okay?
As explained by Sarah, her and her boyfriend of 3.5 years, Jorge Torres, were spending the evening together, doing puzzles, painting, and various other fun activities. Later on in the evening, the couple decided to play hide and seek. Initially, Sarah hid upstairs in the shower, but returned downstairs when George didn't come up to find her. A blue suitcase was situated within the living room due to the couple deciding to give various items away to charity after organising the household. Due to the unexpected and suspicious nature of George's death, officers begin taping off the area, treating it as a potential crime scene. When entering the house, they find George lying next to the medium-sized suitcase, which measured 28 inches in length, 20 inches in width, and 8 3/4 inches in depth. According to Sarah, she had gone upstairs whilst George was in the suitcase and had fallen asleep. Upon getting out of bed at 12:30 p.m. the following day, she realised that George was still in the suitcase. She then removed him, started CPR, and called her ex-husband Brian Boon at 12:49 p.m. Brian Boon immediately made his way to the scene and upon arrival told Sarah to phone 911. With Brian still at the scene, Officer Rodriguez approaches him to obtain more information.
No, if I were to find your footprint, it would be because you went this far into the house. So did you actually make entry past the threshold?
I don't think I ever made it to the carpet. I think it was just in that, I've been over here before.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I don't think I stepped past tile area.
Okay, so
I don't think I touched doorknob. I don't think I touched anything in the kitchen. I don't know if that really matters.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of what you have. Well, sit tight for us. We're going to make a few phone calls, and then we'll go from there. Do you know if he has any medical issues, or?
I don't.
Okay, but you've met him before?
I've met him before, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they've got a whole fun history.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, you guys have been called over here quite a few times.
For the two of them?
Yeah, he's been arrested like I think 5 times against her, so.
Really? Okay, I'm not familiar with so, I haven't been here personally. So they have
he's currently on parole because of it, so.
Because of domestic violence with her?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, from last time he got, whatever it's called, retrial something or other. He had to go to a domestic violence class.
Okay.
I know he was doing it at a parole officer, stuff like that. But I mean, like, every time she'd have him arrested, the next day she was trying to get him bailed out of jail. So I don't know what it is.
As explained by Brian, the couple have an extensive history of domestic violence issues, which has led to George's arrest on multiple occasions. Brian and Sarah have been separated for many years, but had only officially divorced a 1.5 years ago. They have a 9-year-old son together, Lucas, who they share joint custody of. Luckily, Lucas was with Brian at the time of the incident. Officer Rodriguez then speaks to Sarah again so she can clarify her version of events.
So, you've had a second to kind of collect yourself. Tell it to me again. You guys were playing last night, drinking a bottle of wine.
Putting puzzles together, doing artwork.
Doing puzzles, artwork. Okay.
Had a bottle of wine and then decided to play hide and seek. So
What time was that? Do you remember?
I mean, I know that I was in bed probably by, 12:30?
Okay.
Well, I went upstairs at least, and I fell asleep.
Okay.
Forgetting that he was in the
suitcase. So you guys were playing the hide and go seek?
Yes.
And at some point you put him in the suitcase?
No, he got in the suitcase. So he thought it would be funny to be put in the suitcase. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to joke with you and I'll zip you up and make him, squirm a little bit, whatever it is. But then I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
Where was the suitcase?
Right where it is.
Right down there?
Yes.
You zipped him in there?
Yes.
Thought he would be funny, a little joke?
It was. We both were laughing about it. And then I fell asleep.
Where did you fall asleep at?
Upstairs.
In your bedroom?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally forgetting that he was in the suitcase still.
Okay. And then you came back downstairs?
This morning? Or this afternoon, yes, when I got up.
What time?
12:30-ish. I was awake, but I totally forgot that he was in the suitcase. He can tell you there's a lot of things that we have been going through. Jobs.
Yeah, he did tell me.
Life, all that good stuff. So I just totally forgot.
So you began to do CPR on him?
Yes. Yes.
About what time this morning did you start doing that CPR?
No, it was the afternoon. It was afternoon because I was awake. But then I finally decided to come downstairs at 12:30 4:30-ish, whatever it is. And I was like, I forgot he was in the suitcase, and he wasn't moving. Nothing was happening, so I unzipped it, took him out, and started doing CPR on him.
Homicide detectives have been notified due to the suspicious circumstances surrounding George's death. Lead investigator Chelsea Koppel and Detective Scott Sloan will now take over the investigation and, after arriving at the scene, speak with Sarah to obtain more information.
No, if you want to stay seated, I don't want you getting lightheaded. So remember I said the detectives were going to come out and talk to you and go from there. You know what I'm saying? They're here. They're going to ask you a few questions and then go from there, okay? All right.
All right, Sarah. My name's Chelsea. My partner, Scott. To my understanding, you reside here?
Yes.
Okay. Is it just you,
And George.
Okay.
And I have a 9-year-old. It's 50-50 with Brian, my former husband.
Your former husband. Okay. But you reside here with George, and then your son lives with you, or lives, it's 50-50?
Yeah.
Okay. So from what
Rodriguez
has told me, she explained last night that you guys were drinking a bottle of wine, and around midnight, you decided, you guys...
12:30-ish, yeah.
Okay. You guys decided to play hide and seek.
Well, we were playing hide and seek, and then...
While Sarah continues to tell detectives her version of events, crime scene investigators arrived to process the scene. Sarah provides consent for her mobile phone to be searched, and digital forensic officers extract and download the data. With no immediate evidence found at the scene, detectives arrange for George's body to be transported to the medical examiner's office to establish a cause of death.
You don't know anything, though, like why or how?
So we will not know the answer to that because we're not doctors. So what's going to happen is he's going to go to the medical examiner's office, and he'll have what's called an autopsy.
Yeah.
That'll be first thing tomorrow morning. I'll know a lot, hopefully a lot more tomorrow morning as far as him. But I cannot, there's no way I could say how, why.
So just by looking at him, like, why is he purple?
Oh, that's normal when someone passes away. Lividity turn.
As soon as the heart stops beating, the blood starts to settle to the lowest points of the body, and then it just comes very pronounced. So that's you just call it public bleed. It happens every night.
I'm like really scared. I want you guys to know that.
You have all these deputies here, so
With no grounds to arrest Sarah, detectives continue to investigate, whilst they wait for information regarding George's forensic post-mortem. The next day, on the 25th of February, detectives contact Sarah and ask her to attend the Orange County Sheriff's Office for an audio and video recorded interview.
Have you sit the green chair that doesn't move? Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you about these whenever we have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it, just like we did yesterday.
Protocol?
Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights? Your rights? Yeah. So it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them to you, okay?
Sure.
All right, so you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one, one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So I want, so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then you know you get a mark from it. you'll get bruising, like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Okay.
Also too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know, and he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree. So
Okay. What about the scratches? Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on the back of his neck, kind of going, but it's going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. They occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over at the house, too, so...
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
From my understanding, he was there, last Tuesday?
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so...
Well, we're talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because, like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on his head and his skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
absolutely
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
In instances of violent crimes where scratching has taken place, potential trace evidence, such as skin cells, blood, or fibres, may become trapped beneath the fingernails, thereby establishing a connection between a suspect and a victim, or vice versa. Ideally, the most effective practice would be to collect this evidence at the crime scene, as the preservation of DNA would be at its strongest. While DNA can remain under fingernails for up to 48 hours, research indicates that it is likely to degrade after 6 hours, influenced by daily activities such as washing. Although Sarah has provided a plausible rationale for the presence of George's DNA beneath her fingernails, it would be prudent for the detective to inquire about the timing of their physical intimacy. This information could enable a forensic examiner to assess the probability of DNA still being detectable. However, the detectives are more interested in learning about the couple's past issues involving domestic violence and want to know when the last incident occurred.
Last physical was probably, you said, I think, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a month ago?
A few weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks? That was the last, physical altercation between the two of you? You said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Wow.
We've been good. I don't know if, it's since the last time he got out of jail. We've been good, and he's been having his classes. and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So...
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer?
Oh, no, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talk to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So...
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, there hasn't, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so...
Give or take.
Right. So what do you mean by he comes after you? Like...
He gets belligerently drunk. Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken. And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have almost I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it, from him poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
Sarah has stated that George is the aggressor in the relationship, and his violent behaviour often causes her to flee. Sarah is about to tell detectives about his drinking habits.
And then it's like, the next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else, where I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that, so he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink.
Sarah mentions that George is a frequent heavy drinker, which seems to escalate his aggressive behaviour. She points out that she is able to control her own drinking and often decides against it because of her responsibilities towards her son Lucas, whom she co-parents with her ex-husband Brian. Unfortunately for Sarah, Brian has already contradicted some of these statements when Officer Rodriguez questioned him at the scene the previous day.
Okay, so you don't live here in this house?
No. I live down in Lake Winona Cove down there.
Lake Winona Cove, okay.
Yeah.
So kind of tell me how you came here today, or...
Well, I've been calling...
Come down here, we got to talk out here.
I've been calling since...
You've been calling your ex-wife or current wife?
Yes.
Okay.
No, ex-wife. We've
Okay.
been divorced about 1.5 years. About 11:30 is when I started calling to find out, because this is supposed to be her day. Her child.
Okay.
She's generally not very good about always doing it. She tends to drink.
They called back and said she was still there, or she came back.
So I was calling to find out if she was going to be getting him or not today.
From school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I started calling like 11:30, called every half hour or so, and then
She was back inside the lobby.
finally got a hold of her
I'll go
at
back.
12:49.
Brian provided further details to the detectives, highlighting Sarah's unreliability concerning their custody agreement. He also described Sarah as an alcoholic who would become aggressive after drinking. He recounted that during their marriage, Sarah would often initiate fights whilst under the influence, leading to her hitting and scratching him. Brian said he believed Sarah to be the main aggressor in her and George's relationship, although George's anger issues would cause him to strike her back. Statements from neighbours and friends would also reveal similar findings. One witness claimed he would often see Sarah with bruises. However, these were caused from George trying to refrain himself from being attacked by her. All witnesses agreed that Sarah and George were in an unhealthy relationship and would often hear the couple verbally and physically arguing from inside their apartment. All witnesses described the pair as alcoholics and would often see the couple stumbling on the sidewalk as early as 9 a.m. in the morning. One neighbour also recounted a moment when he awoke to Sarah sleeping on his cement patio. Going back to the interview, detectives want to know more about the events that lead up to the couple playing hide-and-seek.
And the luggage, what time you went upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then...
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide-and-seek, and I'm just curious if you remember...
But when we were outside, that's where we would start, and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside, so we could
About what time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking?
And you said you went up to bed around midnight, fell asleep around 12:30ish, but those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight, so there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or...
Like when we started to play hide and seek?
Yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long, maybe about 6-ish. Then...
You're talking about from hanging out outside and like... Okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus it started to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it, started to paint. Well, started to listen to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off. That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship. When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there, and it was in play because...
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well, I
mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
that
but
time,
I'm saying, I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so...
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
Gotcha. No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not, but obviously I understand, you know, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter, you were laughing, he was laughing, but what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something that you guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password?
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's a shared phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it because it's password protected?
He'll come and get it to me and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like he's, look, he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
No.
But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming, other than...
Well, Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday. Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I get my phone.
The reason the detective is asking about Sarah's mobile phone is due to finding some interesting things on it. According to the call logs, George used Sarah's phone at 7:30 p.m. to call his brother Juan. When detectives spoke to Juan, he recalled hearing Sarah in the background of the call, acting aggressively and erratically towards George. Eventually, this got so bad, George had to disconnect the call with Juan. The second thing detectives found on the phone is truly shocking.
So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it down.
Oh, okay.
Let me...
The battery doesn't last very long.
Yeah, it used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and...
No.
Okay, but why did you say it like that? Like...
I don't think you all understand who I am.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't zip somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't, like, completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay. No, it was just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. This came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please. Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find your...
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And this
Fuck
is,
you.
that's you, your
Sarah.
voice.
Stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it on. Sarah, I can't fucking breathe, babe. Sarah. Yeah, that's when you do and you choke me. Sarah. Sarah.
I don't want to watch it, please.
A total of 2 videos were found on Sarah's phone that she had no memory of making. She claimed she didn't recall the event because she had been drinking at the time. The first video, which began recording at 11:12 p.m, was 2 minutes and 3 seconds long and showed the blue suitcase flipped upside down in the middle of the living room floor. George can be seen struggling within the suitcase, pushing upwards, trying to escape, whilst pleading with Sarah to let him out, explaining frantically that he can't breathe. During this time, Sarah taunts, mocks, and laughs at him before the recording stops. 11 minutes later, a second video begins recording at 11:23 p.m, which lasts a total of 22 seconds. The suitcase has now been moved to the left side of the room and is facing the right side up. Throughout the video, George continues to plead with Sarah. We will now show a small and censored version of this video, as we believe it is important to show the factual details surrounding the case. If you want to see the full uncensored video, it is widely available online.
Real or ransom. Might want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real or ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. Sarah.
From the post-mortem examination, the cause of death was determined to be from a combination of environmental asphyxia and mechanical asphyxia. This was due to the limited amount of available oxygen and a restriction in breathing caused by the body's compromising position within the small space. Unfortunately, a time of death wasn't able to be estimated, so we are unaware how long George suffered for before passing away. Due to the temperature within the suitcase being intensified, the decomposition process occurred much more rapidly. Temperature is the leading factor affecting the decomposition rate, although George's struggle before death and his low body mass would have also accelerated the process. A common method to estimate a post-mortem interval at early stages is through a visual scoring method, calculating the total body score from the succession of decomposition stages. However, George had already started to exhibit skin slippage, a late decomposition process caused by the increased temperature. To achieve an accurate time of death estimation using visual scoring methods, the scene's average temperature should be estimated using accumulated degree days, which can then be factored against the level of decomposition. It is thought that an accurate temperature within the suitcase could not be replicated, as visual scoring methods and accumulated degree days are more reliable for outdoor scenes. Although many other methods can be used to estimate a post-mortem interval, these are more reliable during later stages, such as analysing the potassium levels within the vitreous humour, which is most effective 24 hours after death. We will now continue to show the interrogation where detectives continue to question Sarah about their findings.
There's two different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping them in different positions, and him saying that he can't breathe, and you saying fuck you.
So this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
But not intentional, though.
No, you told me you went upstairs because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
It's, and his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other video.
I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end it sounds kind of like a...
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you.
It's not malicious.
Then what is that?
What does fuck you mean to you?
Well...
Like if I were to tell my
like
partner...
he does. Like, I get told everything but a white woman, so...
Okay.
My intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself
Yes.
out, but the video shows
That's
at
what I
no
told
point
you.
can I see his fingers. And
He'll be up here any
like,
minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you.
And I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you think
not
he's
able to get out.
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
When we first
laughing.
got in there, both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to you recording this?
No. No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But I
you're
didn't,
the only one laughing.
But I didn't think that he was, like, panicky. Like,
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before, too, where it's just like he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like,
He's never been locked in a suitcase, that's why he couldn't get out, so.
It's kind of, I thought it was
And
the
you know
boy
the oxygen
crying wolf kind of thing.
Okay.
And again, my plan.
But nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking, he is begging. And you're the only one laughing.
Okay.
And you're the only one saying derogatory comments, like you're mad.
No. Please don't, I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but, like, it's like you guys are kind of trying to, like, feed me. Like,
no, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
Well, I know what...
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
No.
Why don't you remember making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
No. Just because I went upstairs and... Just
You
because
told
you're
us-
drunk doesn't mean that you...
told us times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay. I understand where you all are coming from.
He's asking to come out.
I didn't do it intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not zipping it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And what was
suitcase.
your plan?
Waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him? Maybe I shouldn't?
No.
That didn't cross your mind because
that's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just...
We're asking.
It's the whole...
You tell us.
It's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was, like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't, that, you
He's
all...
telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you
I wouldn't do that to him, either. I wouldn't do that to him.
Detectives are raising this question after discovering a concerning photograph taken by Sarah, which shows Lucas partially zipped inside a suitcase. The following day, detectives spoke to Brian Boon, who could be seen in the photograph standing next to the suitcase. Brian told the detectives the photograph was taken when Lucas was 4 years of age and was taken for fun, at a time the family were preparing for a vacation. Lucas, who was now 9 years old, told the detectives he had never been subjected to any abuse, and the detectives would find no sinister intentions relating to the particular photograph. Despite Sarah's claim of being a straight-A student, she still believes she has done nothing wrong. Sarah cannot believe that she will not be going home as detectives prepare to charge her.
I'm leaving it like this, please. I'm leaving it like this. I did not intentionally do this. No malicious content or effort was towards this. No malicious.
I would say, does that help you sleep, but you're not sleeping, so...
I mean,
last night, I maybe got an hour.
Right.
In your voice, you can hear the maliciousness. The fuck you is very, very...
You don't talk to people like that. That's not like a common, like,
Nope.
hey, Scott, fuck you.
Thank you.
That's not common. It's not something people do. And no one that sees that is going to think that.
Okay.
So we were trying to give you an opportunity, and it is what it is.
There's no maliciousness towards that.
So I would probably be telling myself that too
My
after that video.
intent was not for that to happen.
But you went upstairs and went to bed. Or maybe you passed out, I don't know.
Waiting for him. And the whole time frame thing, it's like,
regardless,
that's not really fair.
Regardless, waiting for him, it's not like you walked up the stairs. You can't fly up the stairs, no one can take you up the stairs.
Okay.
You go up the stairs, you lay in the bed, and you wait for him. Who cares if it's 5 minutes? Who cares if it's 30 freaking seconds? He's begging for his life. He's begging to get out. You go upstairs.
You leave him.
It doesn't matter. So get the time frame out of your mind. It
This
doesn't
whole
matter.
thing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there's this. So it doesn't matter anything what it is I say. So it makes no difference whatsoever.
It's just you're lying and like you're now changing
Who's
your
lying
story.
about what?
You're now you were drunk.
Oh, I never said that I was drunk.
Exactly, but you did here today. That's okay.
You said earlier.
Everything recorded.
Alcohol.
You blamed it on the alcohol.
You blamed it on the alcohol. Alcohol does a lot to people.
Yes, but I never said I was drunk.
Okay.
You did.
So you did this. You did this sober. You knowingly left him down there sober.
I have already told both of you also that we were both drinking.
Right.
Okay.
But you want to admit that you were drunk? Is that?
I'm telling you all both. This has changed my life. I will take this. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a true statement.
Absolutely.
Do you promise and swear that everything we talked about today has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
For which
True and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
What, that it wasn't intentional?
Everything you've said today, everything that's come out of your mouth has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
To the best of my knowledge.
Correct. Yes.
Why?
Because anytime we talk to somebody, we want to assure that everything that we talked about is
true and accurate to the best of that person's knowledge.
It's not a trick question.
To the best of my knowledge?
To the best of your knowledge.
Everything that you've told us today is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, but it was not intentional.
Okay. Okay.
All right, do me a favor, stand up. And you to turn around, face the wall, put your hands behind your back. Do you have anything in your pockets that I should know about?
No.
Okay.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Not intentionally.
We understand that.
He's still dead.
Well, we don't
Someone
really
needs to
understand
call
that.
Brian, please.
Okay.
Or can I not make the phone call?
You'll be able to make a phone call when we get you down to the jail.
So why is this happening? So this was a trick.
No, it's not
No,
a trick.
not
How
a
was it a
trick.
trick? I brought you in here to ask you to explain a few things to us, and
You were read your rights.
your response to everything was basically, I didn't do it.
Intentionally.
I have to go through that.
Doesn't matter. You're still dead. Do me a favor. Have a seat.
Really, guys?
Really.
So if I didn't show up, why is
You're
this
trying-
happening?
Because
Before y'all said I could leave,
when
that I was done after this, after that.
we were done, yes. We were done. Absolutely.
So now, so that's what it is,
We are done.
right?
Sarah Boone would then be booked into Orange County Jail whilst she awaited trial after being charged with second-degree murder. The case would initially be delayed due to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, further delays occurred when Sarah's attorney withdrew from the case. Due to Sarah's difficult personality, she would go through a total of 8 lawyers who all stated irreconcilable differences as their reason for withdrawal. According to reports, Sarah would attack their professionalism, walk out of meetings, be derogatory, and be too difficult and controlling to work with. On the 7th of June 2024, Sarah appeared for a hearing showcasing a handwritten 58-page letter slandering those involved in her case. Within the letter, she admitted to walking out of meetings due to her attorney's unwarranted, uninformative, unprofessional, snotty attitude and her untruthful answers. On her 9th and final attorney, Sarah rejected a plea deal for voluntary manslaughter, which would have sent her to prison for 15 years. Days later, her trial began on the 14th of October 2024. During the trial, Sarah Boone claimed she had acted in self-defense, citing a history of traumatic and violent domestic incidents. The defense claimed that Sarah was suffering from battered spouse syndrome, which is classified within the International Classification of Diseases. Although the condition is not classified within the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, it may be diagnosed within a subcategory of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Now, you've been asked to testify today in regards to battered women's syndrome. Is the battered women's syndrome identified or located within the DSM-5?
So it is not. It is not a diagnostic category in the DSM-5 or other coding books as well. There's others besides the DSM. That's just the most popular one. But it's not a formal diagnosis that it is contained within that book, a classification manual that I just told you about.
Within your field of forensic psychology, however, is there a subcategory that is located within the DSM-5 that experts would recognize as a DSM diagnosis?
Yes, sir.
And what is that, sir?
So that category would be in the trauma section of the DSM-5 TR. There's a whole category on trauma disorders, and it's most closely related to something that we call post-traumatic stress disorder. That isn't the only trauma disorder, but that's the one that what used to be called battered women's syndrome, now I refer to it as battered person syndrome, but all of it really is more connected to a trauma disorder like post-traumatic stress disorder.
Sarah stated that although she had put George in the suitcase, she only wanted to see him suffer a little. She said that whilst in the suitcase, George became angry, causing her to become afraid, believing that if she let him out, he would seriously hurt her. At one point, George managed to get his hand out of the suitcase, causing Sarah to grab a baseball bat and hit the suitcase.
His tone changed, and I knew the tone, and we ended up, I guess, arguing back and forth with one another, and it was the things that he was saying very much frightened me, and cursing at me and threatening me. And
did he want you to let him out of the suitcase?
I'm sure so.
Okay, go ahead, tell me your...
And it just got very heated very quickly, and he continued to push on the suitcase, and my fear was that he was going to break out of the suitcase knowing that it was a broken suitcase. And his hand started to come through, his hand started to come through this way. And so I shook the suitcase, trying to get his hand to go back in, shaking it, and telling him that, please stop doing this, please stop doing this to me, please stop doing this to me.
So his hand actually got out of the suitcase?
Yes.
And you went to the suitcase?
Yes.
And shook it?
Yes.
Did that force his hand to go back in?
No.
So you're shaking it. Were you shaking it to try to get the suitcase, his hand back in?
Yes.
How long did you shake it?
I don't know.
But his hand was still out?
Yes.
Was he trying to get out?
Forcefully, yes.
Was he angry at you?
Yes.
Were you in fear?
Always.
Although George's injuries were classified as blunt force trauma, the forensic pathologist could not determine how these injuries occurred and could not rule out Sarah's claim.
So these are typical wounding patterns for blunt force trauma. And when I say blunt force trauma, that can mean something striking a part of the body, or on the other hand, it can be the body striking an object. And that causes injury to the skin, and to the soft tissue, and sometimes the deeper tissues, depending on how severe or how strong that blunt force trauma is.
Are these injuries consistent with a person being struck with a baseball bat?
They could be, yes.
Are they consistent with a person being pushed down a flight of stairs?
They could be, yes.
Interestingly, on the night of the incident, 2 neighbours had reported to hearing a loud crashing noise coming from Sarah and George's apartment, which sounded like something was bouncing down the stairs. Although Sarah did say the suitcase was downstairs prior to George getting in, she also said that its usual home was within the upstairs closet. Unfortunately, only 2 people know the whole truth to what happened that night, and only one is here to tell the story.
And so your apartment is right next to apartment number 3. Does your apartment share walls with theirs?
My bedroom shares a wall with the lower half of their apartment.
The lower half, okay. Do you recall hearing anything coming from apartment 3 while you were, after you had gotten home?
Around 10:30 or 11 o'clock, there was a very loud crashing sound where I believe, I'm not sure, I haven't been in their apartment like my roommate, but I believe is the location of the staircase.
Okay,
so a little bit above.
A very loud, you said crashing sound?
Yeah, like it sounded like something had been like falling down the stairs. Because it started up high and then it ended low.
Okay.
Unfortunately for Sarah, the prosecutor's evidence was too strong, and after a 10-day trial, a jury convicted Sarah of second-degree murder and was later sentenced to life in prison. Testimony to Sarah's character, she wrote a 28-page letter to the judge following her sentencing. Like the previous letters, this was used to blame those around her whilst inflating her own ego. Parts of the letter read, I have also added to my statement, as a result of your blindness and impartiality, foremost your disgust in me as an outspoken woman, determined defendant, and proactive client, hoping the next time you put on your listening ears and do not unfairly oppress the next as you have so blatantly done with me. She then defines herself as a survivor and not a murderer, and goes on to forgive George. Within the defence's testimony, an expert witness found Boone to display narcissistic personality traits, but stated it did not meet the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. Although Sarah's psychological condition is of little importance now, we believe another evaluation may have a different outcome. Although we cannot include all details within this relatively short video, we recommend those who are interested to watch the full court proceedings, which are publicly available. May we now take this moment to think of George's family. George leaves behind 3 children, a loving mother and father, brothers, sisters, and many other friends and family.